Welcome to the Carpe Fide podcast. Can you say it?
Uh-huh.
Go for it. Welcome
Welcome
to the Carpe Fide
to
podcast.
Yes.
Say it again. Welcome.
Welcome.
Say welcome.
Welcome to the Carpe Fide podcast.
Good job. Woo.
Yes.
That was just so wholesome. What a cute way to jump right in.
Oh my gosh, just so adorable. It's just
We need to save
oozing
it.
with adorableness.
That was Waverly Willow Gruber on her Carpe Fide podcast debut.
Yes, that was your card. Yep, and I'm sure decades more to come.
My beard is soaked with my tears.
It's really gross. I don't think that's tears. That looks like crumbs from lunch.
Happy tears.
And
And Chick-fil-A crumbs.
All right. This is episode 101. Today we'll be discussing some goings-ons on the Capitol Hills in reference to the social media and its influence on children. We'll then connect that to a recent study by the CDC about teen suicide and general teen angst. And let's face it, don't let your kids have phones. Just don't do it. No computers in the rooms.
Trust the CDC though.
You know what? I mean, no, don't trust the CDC. No, the answer is no. We'll also then look at how that, there's also a thing called the TikTok tics, if you were unaware. It's a real thing. It's like it's like a whole disorder. And we'll just get right down to it and how that's kind of affecting everything with a really stupid article from a person who needs a lot of help in his own family. And that'll be how we'll do this. We'll get to the reality of what our culture is doing.
Confused person.
Issues with everything. Everything's an issue, and everyone has a disorder, and everyone needs help. And the reality is they need Jesus and objective morality and truth coming from God. And it's really, really helpful. It brings meaning and purpose. And anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I thought there was a different way to say that.
Nope, that's it.
Putting the cart before the horse. Let's not put the cart before the horse.
Let's see if I make sure I get these right. Tuesday, February 14th, which, if you ever need to not celebrate Valentine's Day and you want to celebrate something better, it's also my birthday. It's a way better holiday.
Happy belated.
Thank you. On Tuesday, February 14th, the Senate Judiciary Committee held a hearing that was focusing on how they could address the harm that social media is the harms of social media on kids, children, teenagers. And so they had several people come in. The founder of an organization called Log Off, Emma Lemke. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. Emma, I'm sorry if I butchered it. Just her whole organization focuses on, helping parents realize that children become very dependent upon social media, and they need it for validation, and how we can't let that happen. We have to pull them away from it. So she did a lot of talking. Simultaneously, we have so many things going through the courts. We have a parent named Apriel. I'm going to say Apriel. Apriel Dorsey. She's currently French. She's currently suing Facebook for the fact that her 13-year-old daughter became addicted to the platform and then began losing sleep and ultimately tried to kill herself. Oh, that's horrible. Another parent, Jennifer, and I gotta. This is just sad, but I'm really gonna try. Jennifer Kautsalftikis. She's suing. Suing Meta platforms and Instagram on behalf of her 14-year-old daughter who developed anorexia and binge eating disorders after becoming addicted to the platform. So all that's happening, all while also, so this would be like the 22nd, I believe, 22nd or 21st. But the Supreme Court is hearing this case that's surrounded Meta and Snap Incorporated. Basically, they're determining as they're weighing the ruling whether or not these platforms can be liable for the harm that they cause or the harm that is caused through the platforms, which basically is they're just addressing Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. They're a platform, or are they an actual news outlet or an editorial agency? So there's a whole slew of stuff coming down the pipe here. And this all has to do with the reality that there's obviously something that social media is affecting children. Now, we can talk more root causes later, but this is like the context into which the CDC released this data. They gave a big old big old data dump from a study that they have. And the data shows that
Nothing like taking a good old data dump.
Yes, just like that. The data is showing that U.S. teen girls are in crisis with an unprecedented rise in suicidal behavior. Not just suicidal behavior, they found a whole bunch of things. Jesse, why don't you run through that list?
I will run through the list.
Or speak through it, because running through it's not going to help you. You'll destroy your computer.
And I don't like to run. So
all things that would... Yes, agreed.
yes. Alrighty. So to this absolutely eye-opening, jaw-dropping, very concerning list. So first things first, among girls, from this data dump, among girls, 30% said that they have seriously considered attempting suicide, which is double the rate among boys, and that is an increase of about 60% from 10 years ago. So 30% of the girls said that they seriously considered attempting suicide.
And I do want to say that this does involve a lot of survey data. So we're talking about self-reporting, which can often be not always as reliable as, like, blind trials or observation-based science.
I thought it involved a lot of cartography.
Yes, the mapping of the...
Yeah, the surveying?
Yes, no.
Of the land.
Yeah, they don't have that little fancy thing on the tripod where they look through it. No, they don't have that.
The laser
That's not a
beam?
thing. Nope, not that at all.
Gazer beam?
Nope.
Rest in peace, Gazer beam.
Yeah, because you did, Gazer Beam. Y'all did.
Poor Gazer beam. He was
Yeah, he tried.
sacrificed by
Yes. Well,
flame man, flamey hair man.
self-reporting surveys can be a little skewed.
Yes, you should always hire a professional before you survey anything.
This is so true. And always call before you dig. What are we saying right now?
211.
Anyway, just keep going with the list.
Alrighty.
Oh, my
Additionally,
gosh.
almost 20% of girls reported experiencing rape or other sexual violence in the previous year, which is also an increase over previous years.
Well, probably good to point out that doesn't actually inherently equate to like charges of rape. This is self-reported
Reports of rape.
Again, self-reporting, experiencing
Now,
rape or sexual violence.
yes, or other sexual violence. Additionally, almost half of LGBTQ students said they had seriously considered a suicide attempt.
Which turns out, statistically, is also something that people with anxiety and depression do. So, carry on.
More than a quarter of American Indians and Alaska Natives said that they had seriously considered a suicide attempt, which is higher than other races and ethnicities.
Yes. Alaska is a cold, dark place.
They love TikTok in Alaska.
That's not their problem.
Those Alaskan Natives.
I'm just saying that specifically, I don't necessarily blame TikTok for this particular situation.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ironically, one of the only countries that allows a sovereign nation to exist inside of its sovereign national borders is America. That's just ironic. Anyway,
Well, what about in Uruguay?
yes. Well, the Uruguayans. Yes.
I thought they were the Uruguayans.
Gaia.
Uruguayans.
Anyway, continuing the list.
Additionally, feelings of persistent sadness and hopelessness affected more than 1/3 of children of all races and ethnicities, and increased over prior years as well.
Which is to say, children feel more persistently sad and hopeless.
That would be what persistent sadness and hopelessness would be.
Which is exactly what happens when you rob them of any objective reality or morality and God.
Additionally, fresh air and other social interaction.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. All this comes out on the heels of, what was that? What did we do that thing? It was called a...
Kufid.
Oh, Kufid. Yes.
Yes. You already,
So,
I'm not reading that point. It's just a summary of all the other points.
Yes. So here it turns out the article went on to say, quote, but isolation, online schooling, and increased reliance on social media during the pandemic made things worse for many kids, mental health experts say. Really? Thank goodness you're here to tell us that.
I would love to know who gave them the grant for this research that came to this obvious conclusion.
Here's a bunch of money. Why don't you give kids surveys and see what they say? Thanks, government. Thank you, CDC. To quote the article, the results, quote, reflect so many decades of neglect towards mental health for kids in particular, said Mitch Prinstein of the American Psychological Association. He's their chief science officer. He went on to say that suicide has been the second or third leading cause of death for young people between 10 and 24 years for decades now. Huh.
I remember when we stopped really talking about that for a long time.
Yeah,
and about how we just became silent on those topics for a long time.
Yeah, I remember this whole thing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. It was called the Columbine shooting. It was a school shooting that happened out in Columbine, Colorado. And basically the entire focus of that for students afterwards was bullying and mental health. And that, just Google it. You'll see that it happened a long time ago comparatively. So I feel like if we've been talking about it for decades, but we haven't been addressing it for decades, and yet money's being poured into it for decades. And in fact, it's like the whole focus of the past decades, that perhaps that statement is a little faulty, just maybe.
Right. Well, I mean, like every year, let's just be honest, every year they're adding more anti-bullying and more sexual health and prevention and more of all of these services and classes and education for these children, to the point where nobody's reading at grade level, but boy, do they know what consent is, you know?
Yeah, they know how to use here, tell us on a scale of 1 to 10 with these different faces how you feel today.
Yes.
Yes.
They know how and where to get an abortion, and they know how to put a condom on, but they can't properly perform math equations.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not think I would venture to say, I would wager no small sum to say that it is not because of a lack of focus on mental health or sexual health that these things are happening.
One of the things that's interesting to draw back into the idea of social media, Princeton, the American Psychological Association
Bruce
chief science
Springsteen.
guy.
I was wondering why that last
It's
name.
Mitch Prinstein.
I know, it's Bruce Springsteen.
It's not Springsteen. It's Prinstein. It's no S and G. He needs 2 letters. He could be there. He noted that anxiety and depression tend to be more common in teen girls than boys, and pandemic isolation could have possibly exacerbated that. Maybe, possibly. But it's just interesting because teen girls have been running to social media for validation.
For a long time.
Yeah. And well, I mean, yeah, for a long time. It's gotten, I would say, exponentially more obvious now that we've had social media settle into such this just innocuous mainstream every second situation it is now.
Would you say that it's exacerbated?
Oh, I'd say it's uber's exacerbated.
Yes, uber exacerbated indeed.
Yeah, well, yes. Glad we're going to walk away from this one.
Yes, I am done mashing up words.
When we sorry.
Oh, are you okay?
The made up words caused you to choke.
I hope you choke on it. This is the second episode in a row.
We have the federal government investigating how social media is affecting teens. We have the federal government and the CDC also coming out with how teens are just depressed and sad and life is meaningless and pointless to them. And connecting the two, they're just stuck on social media. So much so that during the pandemic, we had a literal condition called the TikTok tics. Which is fun to say.
It is very fun to say.
It is so fun to say.
I think they made it that way so that people would be happier when they found out that they had it.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, TikTok is just a world of Instagram Reels. That's the whole idea of it. And life is lived in these small tidbits of the TikToks. And it's just videos all the time. Constant scrolling videos. Next video, next video, next video. And besides repetitive dances, apparently there is like a very large... what's the disorder I'm looking for? What's the
Tourette's?
That's it. Tourette's community on there that does like videos and so that's also a thing on TikTok. And between the repetitive nature of the dances, basically teens were developing Tourette's-like syndromes because they spent too much time on TikTok. You could say it was exacerbated.
Yes, it was.
Uber exacerbated. You could say that if you wanted to, by the pandemic. So COVID-19 is being cut off from all social media, and it basically turned into a what you would call mass hysteria, or what Harvard Medical would re-term a sociological disorder. It's just called mass hysteria. It's just what it is.
This reminds me of in A Christmas Carol when Ralphie goes blind. He's like, "Whatever did this to you?" And it's like soap poisoning. It's yes, TikTok tics.
TikTok tics, exactly.
There we go.
What's interesting is what they've noted to come out of the pandemic now as children are returning back to life. One article put it this way: perhaps as striking as the wave of TikTok tics is how quickly it has receded. As teenagers have resumed their pre-pandemic social lives, new cases of the tics have petered out, and doctors said that most of their tic patients had recovered,
thank goodness.
illustrating the expansive potential for adolescent resilience. Or, just going to hypothesize here, or kids should stay off of social media. It's not okay.
I have never thought to use the term resilience to characterize American adolescence.
No.
Resilience would not be the
Resilience
word
is
that
like
as a former adolescent myself, I would probably not choose resilience.
yes, and certainly something they don't do well is recover from neurological disorders like instantly. Like, that's not a thing they do, right?
The researchers are like, well, I know correlation isn't causation, but in this case, it kind of looks like it.
I mean, yeah, they're so resilient. Or they just don't, they're not spending 90 hours a week, just toning it down to 40 hours a week on social media has really dramatically helped their TikTok ticks. Like, gee whiz. Anyway, all this to say, social media is incredibly pervasive. It is dramatically impacting a culture in which we are not passing on any sense of meaning or purpose to the younger generations. We're actually instead telling them that whatever they feel or think and are determined to be truth is that it's just reality for them. It's truth and reality for them. And that's probably the biggest irony of how bad social media is. It gave the kids TikTok ticks.
I heard that there was a really high correlation with the tics beginning when they see videos of Governor Phil Murphy. That's when they started to really.
I don't know if that's for the teenage girls, but I get tics when I start. As soon as he starts talking and gives me that fake smile, I'm just like, my neck.
The shivers come on.
Yeah, it gets real. The whole room gets cold.
Yes,
kind of like
the remnants of death of.
Yeah, like when in The Sixth Sense, like you see dead people. It's like that. It's like weird like that. Something weird, like M. Night Shyamalan situation.
Yeah,
something weird.
Bruce Willis was dead the whole time, by the way.
Yeah, he was. Did you just ruin that for everyone?
Everyone that hasn't seen it.
Oh man, you know what? There's like a distance from movies. You don't get to have spoiler alerts. It's been like 30 years. Get over it.
The whole reason we do spoiler alerts is because people can't handle it's like the fear of people can't
FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah, it's like the fear of missing out. It's like we need trigger warnings and all this stuff. It's because you're all too sensitive. Get over yourselves.
Yeah, this is not a safe place. This is not a safe place.
It's just a movie.
Not a safe place. Welcome to the Carpe Fide podcast. Not a safe place. Not
if
safe.
The shoe fits, wear it.
And if the truth hurts, you bear it. What's interesting about the TikTok ticks, still fun to say.
So fun to say.
Given the correlation we're seeing with social media and the dramatic lack of meaning and sadness in adolescents' lives, is that
resilient adolescence.
Well, ironically, how you get rid of, there's nothing you can do for TikTok ticks. It's not like Tourette's. There's no extra medication. What you need is simply cognitive behavioral therapy, which is basically you need to stop doing certain things and start doing other things. That's basically, in a nutshell. Cognitive behavior therapy basically says, yes, I see that this is the problem, and here's how we're going to stop this problem. We're going to not do this, and we're going to do this, and I'm going to help you think through how you're going to do that. So more or less what we have here is the reality that so many things could probably really be helped in our society if we just took responsibility for ourselves and didn't live online, and parents parented, and children realized that when they do something, there's consequences. It'd be so
real
amazing.
Life consequences.
It would be amazing.
Yeah. It's almost like now that we don't have to wear the mask, now we've just got to get the kids to come out from the mask of social media.
Yes.
I got you on that one. I don't know.
Anyway.
It's why they call it Facebook, because you hide your face with the mask of a book.
What are you saying? Pod the mask.
I'm going to go to Asbury and speak at their revival. That's how motivational I am. Or wherever that is. I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is. Anyway, this brings me to the article that kind of just ties this up in just a tiny little ball of our culture. Noah Berlatsky is the writer of this article. And he writes for all over the place. He's written Salon, Slate. He writes for a lot of different resources.
Salamander.
You can find this
Souvenir.
This particular article I found on Yahoo.com. But he's
Yahoo
written for
as well.
he writes for major public. He's not a nobody. He does things. And sadly, the picture of him in this article is kind of so funny. Anyway,
is this
here's
the last?
title.
Is this the last article?
Yeah, here's the title of it.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't give you. I don't think the link is right in that, so I do apologize. Anyway, I'll fix that. But the title of this article is "My wife is bisexual and non-binary." That's words. And non-binary, and my daughter is transgender. My queer family helped me better understand myself and my masculinity.
Nothing helps you understand masculinity like confused people around you claiming they're things that they're not.
I feel like all this is the highlighting of our culture becoming completely subjective. And the reason why we're finding that people do struggle through a great many things. So here's what he says. First, my daughter came out as transgender, which is to say his son, biological male, believes he's a girl.
Okay.
Then
Follow. Connect the dots, people.
all right. Then my bisexual wife. All right. So what we have is he married a woman who was a woman and gave birth, as women do, to a child who was a son, biological male. The woman identified as bisexual, which probably caused some interesting conversations inside the house structure, generally speaking.
Generally speaking.
Generally. Then the daughter comes out. I'm sorry, the son, the biological male, comes out as transgender, which is to say a trans female or a biological male that thinks they're a woman. Now the wife is coming out as non-binary, which
I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm seeing a feedback loop here.
now you go on to find out that the trans female is also a lesbian, which is to say it is a biological male that's attracted to women. Now follow this through for me. The bisexual wife that came out as non-binary goes by she, her, is married to a man and has given birth, which is to say just a woman.
Just a woman.
Why are we doing this?
I think it helped him understand his masculinity because he's just like, oh boy, nothing makes me want to be a man more than all of this junk happening around me.
Okay. This is from the article. My 19-year-old daughter last month invited her mother to see the queer comedian Chris Fleming, which, if you're funny, you don't need the qualifier. My wife was thrilled. Our daughter still lives with us, but she often communicates in brief grunts as she scurries down to her basement lair, emerging only to let in friends and forage for chicken nuggets. She doesn't often include us in her social plans.
It sounds like prehistoric SpongeBob. That's what they're describing.
I was not invited on this excursion because I wasn't a fan of Fleming. My wife has tried to explain his appeal. He's so funny, she says. My wife and daughter's love for Fleming is rooted in another commonality. They're both queer, except in practice.
Except it's a man that thinks he's a woman that likes women, so he's just a man that likes women. And the other one, it goes by she, her pronouns, but says that she's gender fluid and says that she's bisexual, but she's married to a man and had a son. And it just seems like a normal family, except for all of these other absolutely asinine things that are happening.
My daughter is transgender, and my wife is bisexual and non-binary. As the boring, cisgender, straight guy in the family, I just don't get some of the aspects of queer culture. I try to take an interest, but your demographic destiny sometimes rears up and says, pfft. That's what he wrote. He literally wrote
This is
that.
high quality. This is public
This man
education at
is
its finest.
literally a professional writer, believe it or not.
Can I just point another irony out?
Demographic destiny.
Yeah, I guess
we
I
are
love it.
we are a crappy culture. Go ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry.
Yes. So his wife is bisexual
Yes.
and non-binary.
Yes, that's correct.
So
Yep. But keep going.
But
You're
if
getting
you're
there, bud.
bisexual,
Yes.
right?
Good.
So
Yep.
that would mean
Yeah,
that
you're getting it.
that you're choosing between one
Yep.
of the two.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah, you're nailing it.
Okay. But then if you say that you're non-binary, you say that you're none of the two?
You're there now. Welcome to the rabbit hole, my friend.
So wait.
You're on the inside of the TARDIS now. You're seeing behind the curtain to the wizard.
Let me recap this just one more time for our listeners.
Yes, go ahead.
This man, who now has a fresh sense of clarity regarding his masculinity,
Doing well.
has married his wife, who is a woman. And,
yes.
And uses she, her pronouns.
You can't say she's a woman. She's non-binary, but you can say she is a she because she uses she and her.
Because she can use she, her pronouns, right?
Yes.
I can call her a she because she says I can call her a she.
That's correct.
So she is bisexual.
Yes.
Which means that she would like both men and women, theoretically.
But she is neither.
But she is
she's
non-binary. Which means that she is neither or both of... No, it would be... There is no binary.
Yes,
right?
that's correct. And
right?
so the real problem becomes maybe she's actually not just a bisexual, but she's a non-binary sexual.
What if she's an asexual, non-binary? She's a plant. I am a cactus. I reproduce with myself.
Now, when you keep going, that's just the
That's
mom.
just the mom.
If you want to understand what my point here is that we as a culture have slipped into the darkness, my friend. We are so far down. We cannot see. The truth is a dot. We can't see it. It doesn't exist. It's so far away right now.
Here's the other problem, right? Here's the other problem is that the son is definitely gay because if you're a biological man and you like women, there's no way that you would want to go to a gay comedian.
Well, I don't know much about the comedian, and I mean, I assume that this guy's being so politically correct that he would have said if he was a trans man, because then that would meant that it's a woman, which means the son could have been attracted to her. But
how do we even define queer anymore? I always thought queer was just homosexual.
This is why it's so annoying. How do you define any of this anymore? Like, we're talking about, he keeps using the word daughter to describe a biological male that likes women.
A boy.
You can't, like I've always said, like it's the joke, right? It's the joke of gender dysphoria.
Yes.
Like, I am a woman. I'm just a lesbian woman. Like, right? That's what I can say as a cisgender. I'm just, you know what? I feel like a woman today, and I'm a lesbian. I have to change nothing about myself, and I get to wear, high heels if I want. Like, that's basically it.
I can compete in women's swimming sports and expose myself to them, and that's fine because I am a woman.
It's not okay. This is...
I'm a woman that likes women.
And we wonder why children are depressed and contemplating killing themselves.
Here is the connection
We wonder
point.
why they have anxiety when there's no foundation to anything. Everything is quicksand. You know what they do? They sink. That's what happens in quicksand. Now, we're to the point where quicksand is slow. Like, you tend to sink slowly. Like, it's called quicksand, which is irony because it's, it doesn't, like, you start struggling. You can.
It's not like the lightning sand in
Princess Bride. Yes, totally different. Yes. Watch out for the RUSs, which spells ruses, which is interesting. Anyway, so kind of like this article.
Giant ruse.
But, like, it's quicksand. So we're to the point now where, like, you've slowly sunk and now the head is just sticking out and death is imminent. Like, that's where we are. Like,
yes,
what is going on?
That is exactly where our culture is right now.
Oh, my gosh. This is why it's so important to know your word, to know the truth, to be able to communicate accurately what God's word says, because there's hope. There's so much hope in just knowing what God has said. Like, there's real value in you because you were made as an image bearer is so much better news than we have no idea how to help you unless you can tell us how you actually identify. And now you, with your self-authentication, will verify what is true about yourself. Like, that's not very hopeful. Like, what happens when I change my mind? What happens when I have a bad day? Well, you know what? Whatever's happened.
Flop back. Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Whatever's happening to you is true. Like, it's vanity, and vanity is just a chasing after the wind. It's all it is. We have to be able to provide the truth. The truth is hopeful. This is not hopeful, as evidenced by the children's own words.
Yes. By their feelings of wanting to literally die than live this way.
But you know what? So strongly that they're actually committing the suicides at that rate. It's still a second or third leading clause, but they
suicides never follow the rate of suicidal ideations.
Correct. That's correct. Yes, this is absolutely true. So
I would wager that the suicide rates are probably going up as well. We just didn't cover that.
Oh no, they are 100% going up, especially when you correlate it with like drug addiction and substance abuse. These types of things are skyrocketing, and then so you have just more waves of anxiety, depression. Ironically, I think there's this. I haven't been able to do a study. But if the government handed me like $1 million and said, "Hey, will you do the study?" I will.
Well, it's good. You should always hire professionals for surveys.
If someone wants to let Dr. Fauci know that man, he's such a good-looking man, he makes my heart stop. Oh, because of myocarditis. Anyway,
I didn't pick up on that.
All right, so if someone wants to let him know, I will do the study. But I would find that there's probably an interesting acceleration that drugs might have an effect on if you already have suicidal ideations to then committing suicide.
Well, they only fund gain of function. So
you know
it
what?
would have to be a gain of function drug.
Well, what if we consider the drugs the gain of function to suicide?
We would need a lot of dogs.
Would we remove their vocal cords?
Well, I mean, unless you want to hear them all the time.
Yeah, they're just annoying. We're just going to do that.
Sand fleas.
Being a man of Issachar means being able to accurately understand the times and also apply the word of God. So just in the gender dysphoria area, the hope of and truth, knowing that God has made you, and yes, sin will corrupt, but you can overcome sin, not by yourself, but through the power of the Holy Spirit, because Christ has died for you. Christ has become the sacrificial lamb. Like, there's hope here to let you know that God has made you in his image, and that's way better than being confused about what kind of genitals you have or what kind of clothes you like.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it brings such the identity level issues that the scriptures deal with as far as who we are apart from Christ and who we are in Christ are foundational to understanding who we are and how we interact with this world. I mean, the scriptures are nothing but clarifying on these issues, and we don't have to live in confusion. We can live in clarity. We don't have to be so consumed with determining or trying to figure out where I fit on the rainbow flag. We can just look at the scriptures and gain clarity as to what is actually real. We don't have to worry about that stuff. The world has enough problems of its own without you questioning what your gender is.
Well, yeah, absolutely. This is why, and all of this is why Paul says that we hope in hope, that our hope rests in hope. The idea there is that God is hope. And so our hope is
God is love. And love is love. God is God.
Stop it. Don't do this. Pops did a great object lesson with ladders and how, like, if hope is a ladder, right, we can't let, our hope can't be in someone else or in ourselves, because a ladder just will fall at some point. You know, you'll get to a height where another person can't support you and you will fall. You can, unless you're really good at stilts, like weird stilts, then maybe you can support yourself, but like eventually that balancing act, you get tired and you fall. And the reason, God being hope, it's a self-existent hope that we can rest on such a secure wall that our ladder leans on an immovable structure. Our hope is in hope. It's why the author of Hebrews says that Christ is a sure foundation. He's our anchor, an anchor in as a boat in a storm. That's what Christ is. And when we think about it, we are in Christ, and so our anchor is not just around a rock. It's absorbed in the rock of Christ. It's immovable. These things are so solid. They provide the substance for all of life to unfold around them, and that's what allows a Christian to go through hardship and not lose heart. It's because this isn't all there is. There's so much more to it.
There's got to be more to life.
And on that note,
I don't know the words.
This has been episode 101, as introduced by the wonderful Waverly Willow.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
She is so cute.
Still crying. You just can't tell.
Maybe Jaeger should put it at the end of the episode too.
Yeah, he should do both.
Yeah,
maybe he should just sprinkle it in a couple times throughout the middle of the episode as well.
No, you can't handle that much cuteness.
Just do a hard cut.
Nope. It would literally overwhelm the internet. People would die. It would be horrible. We can't do that.
You know what? That would be.
It's too much cuteness. It's too much cuteness.
We would feel terrible for
someone would be listening. They would hear the cuteness too much. They would faint. They would drive off the road. We can't be responsible for this.
And then Vice is going to put out an article.
Yeah.
two white cisgender pastors from New Jersey.
No. I am a transgender female that is a lesbian.
Oh.
And
Then
enjoys,
you will be hailed as a hero.
and I enjoy men's clothes.
Their deaths were a necessary sacrifice.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, enjoy this. Let Waverly take you out. This has been another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast. And you know what you all need to do?
Seize the faith.